I'm a spirit channeler and oracle card reader who channels both light and shadow energies in my readings, which means if you're easily triggered, please find yourself another reader. What spirit is following you? You have 4 piles to choose from left to right, pile 1, 2, 3, and 4. Pause the video if you need some more time to choose your pile, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So, what spirit is following you? I'm seeing trickster spirits of a higher caliber, though, and they are ones that are known for attaching to people who are highly indoctrinated in religion or some kind of structured belief system, spiritual belief system, when it comes to what you think about the afterlife and what you think about your spirit guides and angels and entities and all this kind of stuff, and ancestors looking out for you and all that kind of stuff. So I'm essentially seeing someone who grew up in religion. It's really coming off heavily as religion. I suppose it's possible that this could have happened through some other means, but I'm really seeing heavy religion indoctrination from childhood here, where I'm actually seeing duplicitous quote-unquote angels who are masquerading as light beings. With this Ace of Wands here, they're masquerading as the opposite of the devil, with the devil card being reversed, because there's some kind of indoctrination here where it's like, this is evil and this is good, and we need to stay away from the evil because the evil is bad, so we need to run to the good, and we need to do the good, believe in the quote-unquote good entities, even though deep down with this Anana card here, that it's not really resonating with you, or it hasn't been resonating with you, or it wasn't resonating with you when you were younger and when you were going to this religious institution. But I am seeing they appear to be angels to me, masquerading around, basically putting on a front as to what you expect them to do. These could also be spirit guides. So if some of you guys are really prone to maybe praying to spirit guides or speaking with them or communicating with them, you think you have this team of light being spirit guides I'm seeing, but they're not. They're basically masquerading. They're basically putting on a front as to what you expect them to be, but they're not actually that. So you basically called into your existence, you called up these negative trickster spirits. They're very trickstery, but of a higher caliber. They're not the little annoying ones that, play with you. These are they're more intelligent or more experienced or a little bit more or older than the general trickster spirits who you think about, but they're still trickster spirits nonetheless. And you called them forth when you were trying to call forth your spirit guides or your angel guardians or whoever these beings were who you tried to call forth. And they are, again, masquerading as a light with that Ace of Wands there. So basically, they are anything but this. They're not what you actually expect them to be. So if you actually try to get true help from these people, or these beings, I should say, you'll find that you're not getting the help that you need. So you may get surface level, frivolous types of help. Like, say, for example, you really need to get out of a very toxic job. And say this job pays commission or tips, or you need more hours is one of the reasons why you really need to get out of there, but it's really toxic. I am picking up this scenario for someone or some people here. You really need to get out of this toxic situation. Instead of actually getting you a brand new job that's not toxic, they'll just have your manager increase your hours so that you're not stressing so much over your lack of finances, or they'll have you get more tips during a certain week or two, or they'll have you earn more commission and get more sales during a certain week or two again, so you're not so much stressing out over the finances, so that you'll temporarily forget about the fact that the job is super toxic and you really, really want to leave there, because there are multiple reasons why you want to leave there. One, the environment is toxic. The type of work that you're doing is toxic to your soul. And to top it off, you're not getting paid enough, so you're also stressing about finances. So they'll temporarily increase your finances in this position, or temporarily give you some kind of reprieve from the toxicity. Like maybe if you have a toxic manager or supervisor, they'll temporarily go to another work site or another location, or go on a work trip or something like that, and you'll have some reprieve for a week or two max, and then it'll just come back. So if you find like you're praying to them or asking for their help or trying to get information from them too, say you're asking them for information and you're pulling your own oracle and tarot cards, you're going to get trickster type responses. Like you're going to get responses that are not the real responses. Like say you're actually hexed, for example, and you ask, am I hexed? They're gonna say, oh no, like love and light, or all you have to do is focus on love, and anything that may be there is going to disappear, which is absolutely not true. Or they're gonna say, oh, there's nothing, you're absolutely totally fine, when in fact you definitely are hexed. That's an example. I'm not saying that you are. That's not what I'm looking at in this reading, but yeah, so basically, to get rid of them, I mean, obviously a banishing ritual will help, but above that, because that's like kind of like a lower level thing, like yeah, that's going to help, but the main issue here is that you guys are believing in these types of, or you're trying to call forth what you perceive to be good, because based off of an indoctrination that is false and that is misguided and misinformed, and you're basically going into this blind, or you did go into it blind, and you don't know what you're asking for. Some of you guys, these are ancestors. You were told over and over again, oh, like call to your ancestors, blah blah blah, and you ended up calling to like criminal ancestors from your past, or like, I don't know, some ancestors who were like your half siblings. Some of you guys, I'm seeing like half ancestors who were like slave owners to your kind, and they hate you or something like that. Like say you had like your great grandmother had a half sister who was the master's daughter. Like, you know what I mean? Like you guys are called on the wrong bloody people. That's what I'm seeing. The main issue is that you are, look at this, I just split the deck and I got the Judgment. See, you called on the wrong people. You think you're calling on this full-bodied being, and you're calling up the skeleton, so it's not, the flesh is not there. What you're actually looking for is not there. It's like underneath the cloak, it's just skeleton. So the main issue is that you guys are trying to call on beings who you think you should be calling on based off of old indoctrination that tells you what's good and what's evil. And it's actually not the beings that you actually should be calling on, and it's not the beings that you actually deep down want to be calling on, but you've buried that part of you so deeply for so long because growing up, you were indoctrinated that, oh, this part of you is bad, or these beings are bad, or whatever, that you're just calling in trickster spirits who are just messing with you because they know that you're not even supposed to be trying to call on these other entities, and those other entities that you're trying to call on know that you shouldn't be trying to call on them, so they're not coming when you're calling on them. And then in the void, in the gap of them not coming when you try to call on them, you get these trickster spirits coming in their stead. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that the entities you're calling on are indeed these damn trickster spirits who have a great reputation on Earth, by and large, but who are actually trickster entities. So yeah, mainly picking up like dodgy ancestors, or angel guides, or light beings, spirit guides. That's what I'm picking up. So those are your messages. I hope that helped you and resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, pal number 2. Welcome to your reading. So what spirit is following you? Okay, so yeah, first of all, I'm actually not seeing a spirit. I'll see if they pop up during the reading, but I'm actually seeing like a kind of karmic force um, that has to do with your past life. So basically, in a past life, we'll just say it's probably the most recent one that you had a lot of abundance, probably monetary, but that's not the only thing I'm seeing. I'm seeing like emotional abundance, like you had a lot of things that anyone would have wanted. Like if anyone looked at your life, they would have said, oh my gosh, she's so lucky. Or, well, I'm seeing a she, but it could have been a male, of course. Oh my god, they're so lucky, because you could have been a star. Sorry, I know that's a Britney Spears song, but you could have been a star. You could have been a royal, a princess, a prince. You could have been I'm seeing high priestess, even high priest. I'm seeing like yeah, I'm seeing those two. I'm seeing a military general. I'm seeing the wife of a military general, a knight. Yeah, these are the things I'm picking up. So you did have a lot of prestige. You had like a lot of abundance around you, but there was some issue in that life where it's like you wanted another life, like you wanted to leave. Like I'm seeing you guys being kind of like trapped in a palace or a castle or a monastery or like some kind of beautiful prison, like some sort of like a beautiful entrapment type of thing. It was a gorgeous place where you lived, but I'm seeing you guys being trapped there. Like you didn't have a lot of free movement outside of the grounds, so you couldn't really leave without permission or without being escorted by someone. And so you had a lot of dreams about, oh, what would my life have been like if I was born more free, if I wasn't born to this royal family or this noble family or whatnot, or if I wasn't married off to this, because you guys definitely were born in some kind of high ranking family, but if you were female, I'm also seeing that you were on top of it, were married off for a lot of you guys, or you were sold to or given to some sort of priesthood or priestesshood, which is you were basically married to the priestesshood. So not only were you born in privilege, but you also went into privilege in your adulthood, but it was some kind of elaborate cage, like an elaborate prison. And basically you always like kind of dreamt about, oh, what would my life have been like if I was born free, like of these constraints, societal and political constraints and all that kind of stuff. And you really wanted to move and like do stuff, but you couldn't do anything. So basically the karmic force that is following you is like basically everything that you wished and hoped for. Like what would it have been, basically what would it have been if I was born a nobody and basically no one knew who I was, and I wasn't, I didn't have the status. So in this lifetime I'm seeing you guys as being like not having a status and being like a peasant essentially, so a commoner I should say. So yeah, if you guys are supposed to have more freedom in this lifetime, you do have more freedom in this lifetime, but it does appear to be causing you some issues because you were so pampered in your last lifetime. You don't actually know how to fend for yourself with this Queen of Wands here in reverse. So yeah, with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, you do have a gift here, something that can definitely make you a lot of money and definitely like set you up well. But with that Queen of Wands in reverse, it's like you guys still have some kind of damsel archetype that is attached to you that you can't fully shake. I wouldn't be surprised if your South Node was in Cancer, but anyhow, or in Pisces, but anyhow, or in Virgo. Okay, that's it. So what was I saying? Yeah, you guys have some kind of damsel archetype that is like still attached to you that it's hard for you to shake. So it's like you have this lifetime where you're free, you're a commoner, you're free of all the restraints and restrictions, but yet in this lifetime I see you guys actually daydreaming about what it would be like if you were born a royal or a lady, a noble lady or lord, or I don't know, if you're born in ancient Egypt and you were high priestess, or all this kind of stuff. So you guys are basically daydreaming about the life that you used to have, with of course some more freedom to it. You don't want to be as restricted, but you guys are essentially daydreaming in this lifetime about the old life. So daydreams that you have of yourself being more prestigious are partial memories of your old life. And then conversely, in your old life, you were basically daydreaming about your life now. Where, especially if you're a female, where females have more freedom to move around, because I'm seeing like you didn't have a lot of freedom to like move around outside of the grounds, outside of the palace, the castle, the whatever this was. You didn't have a lot of freedom for that. And you guys were daydreaming about, fantasizing about, oh, what would it have been like to be able to have more freedom of movement and to be a commoner, so that people didn't always watch where I was going, or that I wasn't so restricted anyway. So basically your past life self was dreaming or fantasizing about you now, and you now are fantasizing about your past life self. So yeah, I'm still not seeing a spirit actually coming in. I'm just seeing like this karmic force that's following you, so to speak. See if I can see anything. Yeah, it's you. It's like another version of you. Like, it's like if we are going to say a spirit is following you, it's like a fragmented version of your part of your psyche that's following you around. That's what it is. Not a third party, external, like separate entity, so to speak. Though it may, of course, sometimes feel like that because it's fragmented and because it's part of your past life. It may feel foreign to you, but it's you. So yeah, let me see if I can see some advice, because that's kind of rough that you guys are still stuck in this damsel type of energy and are not doing well financially. You're not very abundant at all. Even emotionally, I'm not seeing as being emotionally abundant. Like, I don't see you having a lot of family you can count on, a lot of friends you can count on. It's funny how we got Isis, and I was seeing some of you guys might have been an Egyptian priest, maybe even pharaoh, or the daughter of a pharaoh, or something like that. Okay, basically you guys have some kind of, it's like a shadow. See this card, it's kind of off camera, but here we go. Let's put her here. It's like a shadow that's following you. It's your shadow, part of your shadow. So the issue is that you guys have a fantasy, both in your past life and both in this life, where you guys don't really fully appreciate what you have. And I don't mean that in a way to like make you feel bad. It's what I'm saying is that, of course, I believe you when you say that in your past life you were restricted and you didn't have a lot of freedom and this and that and that and this. I definitely believe you. And in this lifetime, I believe you if you say, oh, I wish it would have been nicer if I was born to a wealthier family, or if I was more successful, or if this and that had some of the prestige of my past life, because it's hard out here. I'm struggling financially. I don't have all the people around me that I used to have in my past life. Like, your past life, you had a palace full of like court people, and you had others. If you were in a high priestess, you had your sisterhood, or you had your family, or you had the rest of the royal family, or whoever, but here in this lifetime, I'm seeing you being like just in a small family, or just ostracized from your family, or just not a lot of people. So I definitely believe that, of course, there are pros and cons to each scenario, but it's like you're kind of jumping back and forth, focusing on the cons when you have the pros of the past life, and then when you have the pros of this life, you're focusing on the cons that you're missing from the past life. You guys gotta just you guys have to make your own path, like outline your own life, like try to decide like what the heck would you actually want to be happy. And you're going to find that you're fighting with yourself with this, because you might think, for example, some of you guys, this is really going to resonate. I am seeing, because I remember I'm seeing the damsel archetype. So some of you guys might be thinking, oh, it would be great if I married like a wealthy man. But then there's another part of you who goes, no, because then he might restrict me and I want my freedom. that part of you that's popping up and contesting that idea is your past life self who had that. They were married to a wealthy man for most of you guys, and like I said, some of you guys, you were a celibate or abstinent, or not necessarily, but you were an unmarried high priestess or priestess. But for most of you guys, you were married and you had that wealthy partner. And the part of you that's popping up saying, no, I don't want to be married to someone, or I don't want to be tied down to someone, is your past life fragmented self who's combating you on that. But the version of you that who's saying, oh, it would be nice if I actually did marry well so that I didn't have to worry about all this anymore, is your current life self saying that. So you have to try to reconcile these two dichotomous, conflicting sides of yourself, because they're both valid. They both mean well. They're both trying to avoid what you don't want. The part of you that wants the wealthy partner is trying to avoid the poverty and the struggle, and the part of you who doesn't want the wealthy partner was trying to avoid the restrictions and being tied down and being controlled and all that kind of stuff, and losing freedom. You have to try. So in this case, you have to come up with a scenario, or like what's a scenario? What's something that could happen where you have the wealthy partner that the current you was desiring, but you also have the freedom and the liberty, or the non-subjugation, the non-restrictions that your old self had. What is a scenario that could happen where I can actually have both? So write it down. This is actually, trying to do this in your head is going to drive you bonkers. Write it down, try to combine these two conflicting parts of yourself and come up with a scenario where you could have the best of both worlds, where you can have both of them, and try to please both sides of yourself. Because if you try to favor one side over the other, I really see the other side like yelling at you and fighting you, not only fighting you mentally, but also fighting you in the physical realm, like preventing your manifestations from occurring, because they don't want that. Because say you try to favor the current part of you who wants the wealthy partner, then the fragmented past life self of you is going to try to thwart that plan, because they don't want to be restricted again. Because remember, they're trapped in a palace, this fragmented past life self of you. So you have to try to come up with a scenario where they can both be happy, because again, if you try to favor one side or the other, your life is going to be chaotic. And that's probably how it has been up until this point. Well, yeah. So yeah, those are your messages. Wait, let me just see. Finally, I kind of feel like there's one more thing. Maybe not, but let's just see. Okay. Balance. Beautiful. It just wanted to reiterate what I said. Look, there we go. So I'm not making this crap up. Balance. You gotta, both of them. The past life self, look, the moon, past life fragmented self, and the sun, the current egoic self, what they want, you gotta merge them. Like if I was using the tarot, I probably would have gotten the Lover's card. Let's just for fun, let's see if I get it. Probably not, now that I'm looking for it. I didn't get it, but I got the Hermit, so it's telling me to look inside of yourself and like combine the aspects of yourself so that you're one person again. So the Hermit is just one person. They're not like fragmented like a Five of Wands type of thing, or the Two of Pentacles, Two of Wands. So yeah, there you go. So those are messages. I hope that helped you and resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So what spirit is following you guys around? So you guys are kind of similar to the last pile, but for you guys, the difference is that the spirit that's following you guys is an aspect of yourself similar to the last pile, but unlike the last pile, this part of yourself is not coming from your past life. It's coming from this life. It's coming from your early life, like your youth, your childhood, your maybe preteens years and that sort of stuff. And also what's different from the last group is that this fragment of yourself, it's a fragment of yourself, is not free. Like it's not moving around, it's trapped. So it's contained. So this is like a child, like like an inner child, a fragmented inner past child self of yours. And child, I use that loosely because for some of you guys, I am picking up like preteen age. So basically what happened is some sort of trauma from your past, from your childhood, that has to do with either money or love, because I'm seeing both in this pile. Again, it's a general reading. And I clarified it because I was like, hey, is it money? Is it love? And I got this Hierophant in reverse, and I'm seeing that as being both. The institution of career, and I'm also seeing that as, you know, the priest who marries you off, who marries you, it being in reverse. So I'm going to focus on the love because it's kind of screaming at me right now. And then I'm going to look into the career bit. How do I say this? I mean, you know what happened, but S.A. occurred in your childhood. So you have a lot of sexual trauma that from your childhood. And you locked this part away. It could be molestation. You locked this part away because you know why. And now the quote unquote spirit that's following you is not exactly following you. Well, it is following you, but it's following you in a cage. It's hard to explain, but I'm seeing it as following you in a cage or in like a globe, maybe even like this. It's like trapped. Basically, you don't have a romantic life. You don't have a romantic life to speak of at all, or you don't have a romantic life that's going well at all, because you're just constantly attracting men or females or romantic partners who continue to hurt you and continue to overstep your boundaries in that department, and just continue to overstep your boundaries in general. And you feel like you have this idea that all men or all women are like this, or the very few are all taken, or the very few would never be attracted, who aren't like that, or would never be attracted to you. And you kind of feel like the only type of partner, romantic partner you can ever attract are ones who will continue to overstep your boundaries and continue to disrespect you, narcissist, toxic, abusive types of partners. And you feel like that's all that's out there for you. So a lot of you guys either are completely have cut yourself off from romantic relationships, or you are always in traumatic causing ones. And for the career, what the heck happened with the career? Let me see. For money, there's something with money. Empress. For some of you guys, one of your parents left. Oh, one of your parents chose their career over their family. So take that however it resonates. Either they completely left the family, or they were just almost never at home. Woo-hoo! Here we go. Yeah, one of your parents, and it's coming off of like the mother. Conversely, like not like you would expect. That's actually coming off as the mother who like chose money over you guys. So maybe she left the family for a wealthier partner, or she chose her career over you guys somehow. However this actually manifested for you guys, either she was completely gone or only partially there, one foot in, one foot out. Some of you guys, maybe your parents divorced and separated, and your mom like remarried or went off with a wealthier person, and she barely saw you when your father had full custody of you and your siblings, and you barely saw her. Let's see what else I can see. Some of you guys, your mother was always there, but there was something about her comparing you with money, like comparing you and your livelihood with money, like always kind of saying like, making you feel bad that you had necessities that required money, because she was a single mom. For some of you guys, she was a single mom, was struggling, and somehow she made you feel bad when you needed things. because you were draining her finances. So she made you feel like you were a burden and that you were drained on finances. So it made you feel like you weren't worth money. So now growing up, or as a grown up, you have money issues. You have money trouble getting money and keeping money for them, especially because some of you guys may be able to get it, but oh, let me tell you, you can't keep it. So it's either both, or it's you can get it but you can't keep it. So because you don't feel like you're worth it, the money, because she made you feel like it was a toss up between you and something else. Like it could have been something superficial, like I need to get my hair done, or I need a new outfit, but like you're complaining that you have a small hole in your sneakers. Like it could be that bad, or it could be just a really stressed out single mom who's like, listen, we can only afford beans and rice today. Eat it and be freaking happy, because if you weren't here, and then I might be able to afford something better. But you eat a lot and stuff, like, you know what I mean? So it could have been like that, but yeah, that's what it was. So that's what's following you guys. That's the spirit that's following you guys. It's like a trapped inner child, past child, inner child fragment. And let me see if I can see any kind of advice for you guys, because similar to the last group also needed some advice for their issue. Tower. Yeah. So it's like you have to take back control of your life. It's like you guys are like allowing this trauma to control your life. So for the romantic issue, you guys are allowing the trauma to pick your romantic partners for you, who continue to abuse you. And for the financial trauma, you guys are continuing to allow your mom's sort of ghost in your head to choose the type of jobs or income streams that you can get. I'm seeing welfare, I'm seeing like strip clubs, I'm seeing like just, I don't know, I'm seeing drug dealing, and you're allowing like their ghosts, I'm not saying they're dead, I'm just saying like their ghosts in your head to control your income source, and also how long you hold on to it. So there needs to be a lot of healing to do with this trauma. I would actually recommend traditional therapy, psychotherapy, because this is deep-rooted childhood trauma. Hypnotherapy may work, but really you guys should be seeing a psychologist. Of course, there are some more metaphysical practices that can help you as well. But this is, this is going to take some work. You need to like buckle down and actually take this seriously, because otherwise I see this trapped, fragmented child self of yours continuing to dictate your love life and your finances. If you don't release it, it's like you have to release this trapped part of yourself and heal it. Because I'm seeing like a little trapped child who was told they're worth, it's like frozen. They were told they're not worth the money that they cost. So that idea, that belief system is frozen. And then for the love, it's like their boundaries when it comes to the body is non-existent, because what they want doesn't matter when it comes to their own bodily autonomy. Or they're not worth respect when it comes to their body and love. And so that ideology is frozen. So it needs to be thought out. Like thawed out, not thought out, thawed out, and worked through. So those are your messages. I hope that helped you and resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading. Hello, pal number 4. Welcome to your reading. So what spirit is following you guys? Okay, for the last 3 groups, we have had a phenomenon where it's not actually an external entity, it's actually an aspect of yourself. So for you guys, it's a repeat of the last 3 groups here. And this aspect of yourself is a fantasy fragment of yourself. I feel like I'm making up like terms here, but it's like best way to describe it is like a fantasy fragment. And it is because you are living in a dreamland where you are powerful and successful and wealthy, well-to-do, and in real life that is not occurring. I am seeing an issue here with some of you guys playing way too many video games, watching way too many movies. I'm also seeing attending conventions like a Comic-Con and that sort of stuff, or cosplay, Dungeons and Dragons, and that sort of stuff. That's the energy I'm picking up for this group here. But overall, I'm seeing a lot of fantasizing and not a lot of action. And the ghost, quote unquote ghost, that's following you is like this fantasy entity. It's like a fantasy entity or a fantasy thought form that you kind of created that is not manifesting in this life, but you have a lot of like nighttime dreams of it and stuff, but you're not able to bring it forth over into this life. So why this happened is because, I mean, you guys, I do see that you guys did try at some point, because I did pull some cards over here. I'm like, you know, like, why is this happening? And I got these here. And I do see it's like you guys have this dream here with this Queen of Cups, but you're not equipped. So a lot of you guys could have been born in a poor family or a poorer family, or you guys could have had some kind of trauma when you were a kid. Like I'm seeing for some of you guys like a parent who was toxic. I am picking up, this might not be for all of you guys, but I am seeing a father, like a alcoholic father, or a father who was very aggressive and maybe even narcissistic, selfish. I am seeing that for some of you guys. It's like you couldn't do anything right. So I don't see you guys getting good grades for most of you guys in school. Mind you, this is a general reading. Some of you guys could have, but for really the people I'm tuning into here, I'm not seeing that you got a lot of good grades. But you're really good at like drawing or sketching. May have even been good at drama class. So maybe some of you guys wanted to be an actor. But it's not coming. It's not coming. It's the goals that you had, they're not coming. A lot of you guys watching this are under the age of 30. So I'm seeing you guys as being kind of new, like in adulthood, where it's like you dreamt that once you turned 18 that things would get better, because I'm seeing like your school life was not very good. Some of you guys may have even dropped out at 16, or like once you graduated high school, that was it. You didn't go on to post-secondary. I'm saying most of you guys did not go on to post-secondary, or the very small group of you guys who did dropped out after the first year. And man, I'm seeing a lot of like different visions here. So sorry that like if these little bits are not resonating with everyone, but that's impossible for a general reading. But I'm seeing some of you guys working with your father in like renovations. That is your job. I'm seeing most of you guys still living at home with your parents, or you live with a roommate. So when you're not doing this renovation job with your father, you are playing a lot of video games. Some of you guys, I'm seeing that you work at a shop, like some of you guys work at a convenience store or a gas station shop. Some of you guys work at a pawn shop, I'm seeing here. Some of you guys I'm seeing work. For those of you, the small group, you guys who did pretty well in school, did well in like science and stuff and tech. Some of you guys might work for a tech shop as a customer service rep, or as a one of the repair guys who repairs technology. I am picking up heavy masculine energy in this group. So if you're a girl, I mean, I guess you're here, but I'm not seeing you. And I guess it's about time, because I've had at least 2 readings where I've only seen females in one group, and I'm like, sorry, man, I can't see you. And I had someone in the comments like, we're here. So I guess it's about time that I have the opposite happen. I'm just seeing pure men, and I'm not seeing any females in this group. But if you're here, let me know in the comments that this is your group. But basically the entity or the spirit that's following you, it's like this fantasy thought form that you created of the life that you should be having, the life that you would have had you been born into a better family, had you not had your psychotic abusive father, or had you been smarter, quote unquote, and were able to do better in school, had you not dropped out, or had you not had a baby early. Some of you guys maybe had a pregnancy, a teenage pregnancy. Had you not got kicked out, some of you guys may have gotten kicked out as a teenager because of a teenage pregnancy. So there's a lot of, had circumstances been different, I would have had a better life. Things would have been working better. I wouldn't have had to work this entry level dead end minimum wage job that I see working at. Some of you guys could be fast food. So what I'm seeing with this combination here, and I also do have the King of Swords underneath the deck, is that you guys have a lot of ideas. You have a lot of ideas about, like, if this hadn't happened, or if I'm able to get rid of this, or if I'm able to end this, or do this, or go here, or if this happens, then this and this and that could happen. But you're not exactly listening to your intuition when it pops up, and actually your higher self, when it pops up and actually tries to give you real directions that would actually work, because then you're thinking, no, it's not going to work because X, Y, and Z. So you have to be careful with that. Your higher self is trying to help you, but it's so clouded under this fantasy and under this pessimism. That's what it is. This heavy pessimism that it's hard for you to hear it. So your higher self may say, oh, like, you got to quit your job or something like that, or I don't know. Let me see if I can see something that it could actually be telling you. But you're kind of thinking in one direction, or like, you know, if this and this and that, and you're not really paying attention to the steps that your higher self is trying to give you to get you closer to where you want to be. You think that the advice that you're getting from your higher self is going to lead you into even more poverty, to lead you to be even more destitute, stressed out, and poor than you actually are already, or more miserable. So, like, you're seeing where you actually want to be with this 9 of Pentacles, and you're thinking, okay, if this can move out of the way, if I can move here, if this and that could happen. But anything that you receive that's the contrary of what you think should happen to get you there, you think is going to lead you to more poverty. And it's probably because the advice that you're getting from your higher self appears to be drastic, and that is actually going to lead you into poverty. So probably the example that I gave right before pulling these cards was correct. Like, maybe your higher self is telling you to quit a certain job, and you're just like, you're telling me to quit my minimum wage job. Yes, it's minimum wage, but at least I have a job, and at least I have a paycheck coming in. So you're thinking that's horrible advice. And of course it does. Yeah, it does sound like horrible advice. Look, another Swords card is the Ace of Swords. It's telling me that I'm dead on with what I'm saying. Look, I split the deck again, and here's the King of Swords that was underneath the deck before. So this is dead on, it's telling me. And it's also telling me that, yep, the information that you're getting could seem problematic, but it is coming from your higher self trying to get you out of this rut. And you have to work with it, because with the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords, it has like a higher perspective. It could see the chessboard from a higher perspective. In fact, in another deck that I use frequently, the King of Swords actually is a male playing with a chessboard. So you can't see the larger chessboard. You can only see like what's directly in front of you as a pawn on the chessboard. And you got to work on being able to incorporate the ideas or the instructions from your higher self that's trying to help you to get to your prosperity, where you'll actually be doing well, where you'll actually be content and happy, where you'll actually be proud of yourself. So you have to incorporate these instructions, even if they seem far-fetched. Now, I know you can only do a little bit at a time, but there's no need to try to jump off a cliff if you're convinced that you're going to crash and die or break something if you do so. But you need to sort of try to incorporate it. You need to at least get close to the cliff. You need to listen more to what it's saying. You need to incorporate the instructions to the best of your ability without freaking yourself out and giving yourself a panic attack. So yeah, let me see if there's any final message for you guys. Divine Masculine. I'm seriously only seeing men in this group. And look at this card, Divine Masculine. And again, we have the King of Swords right below there. It is about your masculine energy that is like limited, because in your fantasy land, you're an alpha male, you're powerful, you are wealthy, you can do anything and everything. But in real life, you feel like a lower level male, the end of the rut type of thing, someone who can't really provide for themselves. They can't provide for their family if they have one. They can't provide for their kid. They're still living at home for some of you guys. Yeah. So you don't like, and look, we get another male again on top of it. And underneath the deck, well, actually no, that's a androgynous person underneath the deck. But anyways, but you feel like who you truly are and who you are in this incarnation are not aligning. It's not aligning for you. So you're having an identity crisis. There's a lot of dissonance here with your identity. They're not aligning. So you have to incorporate your higher self's wisdom more into your daily life, and try to dampen down the fear that you have that you're going to crash and burn and fall, because you're not. If you're taking the steps from your higher self, if you're taking the steps that you're seeing from your vantage point, it's not going to lead you to the life that you want. It's going to continue to lead you to the same dead end job, the same type of predicament that you find yourself in. So those are your messages. I hope that helped you and resonated. Let me know if it did, and I will see you in my next reading.